Okay, I do think we got it figured out. All right, and we are here. So, welcome to the weekly live chat that we're going to be having every Wednesday at 5 o'clock. We are so excited to be doing these. If you were not able to make it to the call last Wednesday, it was really awesome. We got disconnected kind of, but we did talk about the main reason that we were starting to do these, and I just kind of want to recap on that. Um, I know that with most of you, Preston does a one-on-one monthly live Zoom call, and we like to get those recorded so that way everyone can kind of like grasp and learn from it. But we wanted to create like a consistent weekly live call where you can hop on here. Um, we all can hop on here together and like just share those questions that we have, or if you've ran into any problems in your business and it's like, hey, I don't want to wait till like that month, like of course you can get on the group and post your questions. And Preston, I know, or anyone in the group will be glad to like answer it, but we just want to get like this community where we're all getting on here together weekly, bring in our testimonies. We want you to get on here and share your wins that you've had, ask the questions that you have. And like, let's just make this a place where it's just, an awesome, positive group full of people that want to grow and go and, you know, see the better and build a awesome community. So that's kind of what all this is about. Hopefully you gleaned it from, that big explanation that I had, but we really just want you guys to win. And I know that it looks a little bit different. Normally, me and Preston will both be doing these Zoom calls together. He will be here. But being the entrepreneur that he is, he did get caught up for a minute and had to work a little bit later. So I was like, you know what? It's okay. I'll get on here and start the Zoom call out because, Preston is awesome and he's so excited to see you guys grow. But I just want you to know that I am also excited to see you guys grow. And this was uncomfortable for me, not gonna lie. Um, when he told me he was going to be working late and mentioned it, I was like, oh no, I don't know if I'm ready to get on there. What am I going to talk about? Like, you're the brains in the business. Like, I'm not sure if I'm ready. And I was very uncomfortable. But now that I'm here, I kind of feel really excited, feel a lot loosened up. So he'll be here in about 20 minutes, but until then, I encourage you to grab your coffee. I went ahead and made me one. And let's just like sit back and have a conversation and just I want to share with you guys like the things that I've learned, um, like how I got from point A to now, and like where we're growing in the future. And like that's another part of these calls is that we want to be able to share like um what we have going on. Like we want you guys behind the scenes with us, seeing the real reality of like what we're actually going through as well. Because like as we're teaching you guys, we're still young and we're still learning too. And we want y'all just to see that like real side of things. So when we win, we want to share that and excitement with y'all. And when you win, we want you to share that and excitement with us too. Because it's awesome to win, but winning on your own, I gotta say, is not near as fun as when you win in like a group. Like it's cool if you climb this mountain and you get to the top, but if you look around and nobody's there and no one to share the view with, like, yes, it's still a beautiful view, but how much more exciting when you get to high five your partner or high five that whole group that just went mountain climbing with you and now you're at the top together. Like, it's so exciting and just an awesome time. So that's kind of our goal here. But just to kind of like dive into the chat, if you don't know who I am, which I hope you do from our last call, my name is Olivia Googe. I am married to the awesome, wonderful, spectacular businessman. Just there's not enough words to describe the man that I'm about to name. But he is just awesome, and I am his wife. And then as Preston Googe, I am so proud of him. He is kind of he is the face behind Sales and Cashflow. He's been the one making all that awesome content for you guys to consume. sharing everything that he learns. And I am just so proud of him, really beyond proud of him. I know he gets on here and helps you guys out a lot. And I just think it's so amazing to like see where he's come from to where he is now. And like he doesn't want to gatekeep, he's not trying to gatekeep any of this information that he learned, but he wants to share it with you guys so that you can grow and that you can be better because he's kind of learned a lot of these things like the hard way and on his own. And he wants to give you that like shortcut. So be like paying attention when you see those posts that he makes or when we do these live calls. Like he's gonna share everything and like so much valuable information. And there's gonna be so much for you to like grab a hold of and like apply to your business and apply to your life and just kind of help take you to that next level. So yeah, I love him, obviously. I'm very proud of him. But I am Olivia Gooch, and just thinking about kind of like when we first got married. When Preston and I got married, I was pretty young, so I had always lived with my parents. I hadn't ever really been on my own. Um, and I was working at Staples. So Staples was like the it job for me. I thought I hit the job jackpot. And I was like, this is so great. I love working here. I was making like $10 an hour. And, I thought I was set. I was going to be a manager, progress in this retail store, and that was going to be it for me. Um, and my husband, Preston, was doing car sales and he was working really long hours. So he'd come home and he was pretty tired. And I'm like really reared up on energy because I've only worked like 3 to 5 hours for the day because I was working part time. And we were just kind of like on two totally different schedules. And he was like, we should start a business together. And I'm still not convinced that this business was entirely just for like him to quit. I really think he was trying to give me something to do because he probably came home and I had all this energy and I was bouncing off the walls, so excited to see him because he's been gone all day. And I'm pretty convinced this business was to try to give me something to do to help wear me out. And boy, did it wear me out. We decided to start a cleaning business, and I was like, oh Lord, I don't know if I really want to do that. Like, I kind of touched on this in the last Zoom, so if you hadn't seen it, you should go back and watch it. Um, but I touched on this in the last Zoom that I was like, um, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do cleaning business because my family always did that growing up. And if I'm going to get paid $10 an hour, I was like, I don't want to, scrub a toilet. I would rather go do print and marketing, which is where I worked at. And that's about what I made was $10 an hour. Um, and he kind of like just kept pushing me into it and was like, let's try it. And if you hate it, we'll hire help, but like just while we're getting off the ground. And I was like, okay. And our very first job, well, where did the Zoom go? I think it's still on. Hold on. Oh no, where did it go? There we go. I have no idea why the screen changed. So I guess we'll just kind of cut that part out. Um, but anyways, so he gets this first job and we go, and I was like crying my eyes out because it was just so hard, so uncomfortable, something I wasn't used to doing. Um, and it got better. But I've just kind of learned like it's so awesome having someone there to push you into things that make you uncomfortable. And I think that's like something that I'm really got blessed with, like in our marriage. It's like I have an awesome husband who's like always pushing to the next level and always pushing to grow and keep the bar moving forward. And sometimes I think like in our human nature, we like to just kind of get stagnant or like we find this comfortable road. If you're on a smooth road, like, oh yeah, I could drive on this road for a long time. But if you're on like a bumpy road with a ton of potholes and there's an obstacle and then there's a tree that's fallen and like you got to make your own road, like yeah, honestly, like nobody wants to pick that road. If you were shown a road that had potholes and all those things that I just explained. Or you could take the smooth, really nice paved path, you know? I'm pretty sure if we had no idea like the context of those two roads, other than what their conditions were, a lot of us would take that smooth path. Um, and naturally, I think we all just like to go that way. But my husband is kind of like this different breed where I feel like he would look at that path and be like, oh, there's probably money at the end of that road. And he would probably chase and like pick the hard road. And I just think that's so amazing about him because like everyone else I know would go down the smooth road, including myself, but he's like, nope, we're going down that hard road full of potholes and fallen trees and all the hardship. But it's not that it's just hard. Like that's kind of the entrepreneurial road. Like just a wake up call, you know, being an entrepreneur is not going to be that smooth, straight pathway. It's probably going to be the bumpy, curvy, and crazy road, but it is such a worth it road to be on. And as you get down it, you know, you overcome these obstacles and these different things. And the farther you get down it, well, then when you turn around, the road's smooth, right? And that's kind of what I feel like Preston has done is um he's went down this road that's been super hard and a lot to learn and a lot of challenges, and he's cleared the pathway, and now he turns around and there's this nice easy, like he's made it a lot easier for those that he's able to teach the things he's learned to get down that road. So I feel like if you can envision this, I'm using my imagination right now, but it's like he's paved this road, he's turned around, and he wants to bring us all down the road with him. But he's going through and like hitting all the hard stuff, and he wants to help us avoid that. And I just think that's just so awesome about him. I love that about him so much. But like sometimes it's been scary being the person like right alongside him in that journey. Because it's like, okay, how do I support him? You know, like obviously there's going to be hard days, and obviously some days will be easier than others. So how in the world do I support this man that has chose, you know, the road of being an entrepreneur, the road of like being successful? How do I like choose him when my nature is naturally to go down that smooth road? Um, and that has come with like a lot of trial and error, but I feel like we've gotten to this place in our relationship where, um, you know, we just try to be intentional with each other. Like, if there are things he needs help getting done, like we make a list. That is actually something we started doing recently, is we will make a list of all the things that we need to get done. And if it's something that like only he can do, like, you know, maybe we'll put Preston only by it. But we try to make a list of all these tasks. And then when I have like free time or like I'm available to help, like I will go look at that list and we'll send it between our phones, or we'll keep it in like a notebook, and I'll go look and see what I can do. Um, and then from there, like I help take things off his list because he's on this hard, like aggressive road. And it's as the spouse of someone that's chasing like such a big dream and vision, my goal should not be, I don't believe, to like add anything extra to his already pretty hard and like exhausting um path that he's chosen. My goal is to like help clear that road and make it easier for him. Or like, you know, maybe I can't do all of it, but if there's something like, let's just keep envisioning this road because this is the path I've decided to take on how to explain everything. Let's just say, you know, we come to this wall and there's like a bunch of like rocks blocking the road. Well, I might not be able to pick up the really big, heavy rock that is kind of in the way, but if there's like a small, medium-sized rock and I can grab it, oh yeah, I'm gonna grab it and help throw it out of the way. I might not have been able to do everything, but I was able to like take hold of his daily task and the things he's chasing and like help him and alleviate some of the task off of his plate. So that is something that we've kind of been doing. And I hope that you're like in this story with me because I wasn't expecting to go down like a storytelling road, but it's just the easiest way. Like I knew how to explain what our life looks like and like kind of just put it into an imagination form of like where we are and how we've gotten there and like what we're doing together as a couple. And I know that there are some women on here and you guys are entrepreneurs and running your own businesses. And I just think that is so awesome. Really proud that you guys like have that and are able to chase that. But like, the men too, but I just wanted to like shout out to the ladies that I know are out there and growing their businesses. I never believed that I could. And so like seeing that you guys are already out there and like getting behind it and getting after it, like I'm just very proud of you and super excited to see everything that you are going to accomplish. But um yeah. So something else I wanted to kind of touch on with being intentional. Um I know I talked about making the list so that way you can intentionally help each other. That is like one of the main ways that we do it. The reason why I feel like being intentional is so important though is like if you got in your car today and you wanted to go somewhere or like you had um, a road in mind and you're like, this is the destination that I want to reach, right? So you get in your car and you just take off driving, but you have no idea how to get there. Um, you don't know which route to take. And like that's kind of another example of like what being an entrepreneur can feel like sometimes. Like in the beginning, you're like, okay, I know I want to be a millionaire or I want to have more freedom and like free time. I want to be home with my kids more. Whatever it is that goal is that you've like set, you may like put that on your roadmap, right? But if you get in your car, you're like, okay, well, I'm here and my goal's here. So how do I get from here to there? Um, and if you just get in your car and you don't even try to like map it out or you're not sure where you're going, you may go like this, right? To get there. And like it's taking you so much longer to get there because you have no idea where you're headed. But hello, my awesome husband's got here. But if you
What's up? What's up? How you guys doing? You're learning a lot? What we talking about here?
the making a goal and trying to get there, if you're not intentional, you'll go all over the place.
Yes, yeah, you got to know where you're going. If I gave you a bow and arrow and I said hit the target, where are you going to shoot, right? If you don't know where you're going, how are you going to hit it? It's not going to happen. I'll be like, bro, make that much money. Well, how much money? I don't know. You figure it out. You got to know what you want. Like, how much money does it cost you to live, right? Well, what if your mom gets sick? Then how much does it cost, right? What if your grandma needs help? Then how much does it cost? What if your wife says, I can't work no more? How much does it cost? Like, how much does it really cost you if things go bad? Can you just live? Or can you thrive? Like, what are you shooting for? Where is your goal at? Like, I know it costs me $25,000 a month to breathe. Like, if you were gonna look at me and be like, bro, we made 5 grand last month. I'm like, how can anybody live on 5 grand a month? Like, I'm telling you this not as a joke. I'm not making fun of you if you're not making any money, but I'm telling you for real, like, how can you live on 5 grand a month? Like, if my church needs help, I want to be able to write the check. If my wife doesn't feel like working, I need to be able to take care of that. We got a $4,000 mortgage. We got $4,000 in car payments. We want to write, X amount of dollars a month to our church. We want to give 3 or 4 grand a month if we can. You know what I mean? We want to do what we can. How can you make sense on living on 5 grand a month, right? What if your grandma gets sick? Our grandma was homeless. We had to buy a house. Like that's an unexpected expense. Like my grandma can't be homeless. Your grandma can't be homeless. If she's around, you want to take care of them. You've got to make sure that you're doing what you need to do to make sure that your family is taken care of. That's your responsibility. Don't you know, like as a Christian, the Bible says a man that can't take care of his own household is worse than an unborn child, an infidel, somebody who's known the faith, somebody who's never, somebody who can't take care of their household is the worst. You've got to get your money game right. You've got to have your goals right. You've got to know what you want in your marriage, what you want in your finances, what you want as your life as a Christian, what you want in your health. You're going to walk around and be fat and tired all the time, or are you going to get it together, right? What are you going to do with yourself? What's your target? Like she's hitting this, and this is so important. You've got to know what it is you want. right? If you don't know that, how can you expect to get anywhere? How are you going to get to where you need to go? How you don't know where you're going. Map that out. That's so important. Like, why you should already have this down to a T. I know it takes me $25,000 a month to breathe. I know I don't need to eat more than 2,000 calories. My body don't act right. If I eat a bunch of carby foods in the middle of the day, like if I eat bread, I feel tired. If I eat noodles, I feel better. Like I know the same thing, but I know one of them works. I'm learning what I need and what my body likes. I like a salad sometimes in the middle of the day. If I eat a pound of ground beef, I feel good like I ate right, but I get tired. So I know what I want in my health. I know what I want in my money and my spiritual life. I want to pray every day. I want to get up. I want to make sure that I'm killing what I want inside to make sure that my focus is on things above. I want to financially secure our church. Right? We're putting in an offer on a church today. We want to make sure that our church gets it, no matter what it is. I told the realtor, I said, put in the offer. We'll figure out the money. Don't worry about it because we know what we want. We have a target. It's impossible to miss something if you are committed and you're like, well, I don't know if I can figure that out. You're never going to figure that out with that attitude. You've got to get committed. You've got to say, I'm going to do it come hell or high water. If I die, I will hit this target. I will absolutely crush it. I did that when I wanted to bench 315 and I got it on an incline. I got it. I absolutely crushed the goal. It was impossible. I could not get over 240. And then I said, I'll hit 315 or I will die. Like this weight will fall on my neck and I will die. I'll be over. And guess what? I hit the goal because I didn't let no be an option. I figured out what I wanted. I hit 25 grand a month, by the way. In fact, we doubled it. Like there was one year we doubled it. Like we hit 514,000 together, 600 grand with the rent and stuff like that. We crushed it, right? Like we knew what we wanted and you've got to know what you want. Nobody's going to put this together for you. Like I'm going to be real with you in this moment. Nobody is putting your goals together for you. Your pastor isn't going to get on your shoulders and say, hey, I need you to be the one to carry the load of the church. You're going to have to take up for yourself and say, I'm going to do this for my church and my family. Your preacher is not going to force you or make you feel bad. Your family is not going to say, I need you to work 60 or 70 hours a week so that we can have a better life because they're going to feel guilty. But you've got to determine what it is you want. Do you want to work that much? And if you don't, that's okay. But be certain in your decision. You can't be wishy-washy because if you don't know where you're at, you're not going anywhere. You're not going to get anywhere. You guys getting this? Like, am I making sense here? I know I'm sounding like I'm hard, but I'm speaking truth. Like, this is it. This is facts. I'm telling you from experience. Nobody came to me. You know what? We were able to do big things in our church because I got committed and focused. We were able to do huge things financially given. We were able to have six-figure years giving because I got committed. You know what I mean? Like everybody says, oh, you work too much, you're doing too much, you're over this, you're exhausted, you need to slow down, you're too busy. But until they need a check, until it's time to pay for the bill at dinner, when everybody's in the group and you say, I got it, don't worry about it. Until somebody says, I have a need. Like I had a family member call me last month and said, look, man, if we don't come up with $5,000 plus our bills, our kids are probably going to be in defects and I'm going to jail for back pay. Absolutely. You come paint my house for $8,000. You get what I mean? Like we didn't have to finance that. We figured out the money. But why were we able to take care of the emergencies? Because we knew what we wanted. I'm not going to struggle. I'm not going to have to coupon. I'm going to coupon by choice. My wife likes to do it as a hobby, but I'm not going to do that. Like nobody's going to look at me and say, you're not going to do this. Not if it's made up in my mind. Hey, I'm going to crush this goal. God wants me to be blessed. I want to be blessed. My wife wants me to be blessed. Even if she don't tell me, I know she does because she don't want to wake up and have to wonder what she's got to eat today. She don't want to worry about bills all the time. She don't want to be stressed. I know that. They don't have to tell me that. You guys get that? So I figured out what I wanted. And that number for me was 25 grand a month baseline. It might be different for you. You might can live off of less. I don't know. Depends on what your goals and your future is. I wanted our preacher to have a new vehicle. Somebody's got to pay for that. And you know what? Most people in my experience that are Christian are broke. They don't have any money. You know why? Because they never set the target. They never had nothing to chase. They just thought, God's going to let it fall on me, and God's not going to do that for you. The Bible said if a man don't work, he don't eat. So God's not going to bless you and make himself a liar. You're going to have to put this together. He will bless what your hands go to. But if your hands don't go to anything, if you don't have a target, if you don't have something to work towards, he's not blessing no mess. You've got to figure it out. You guys get that? I'm not trying to yell at you, but I'm passionate about this. Like I get excited. This matters to me because I needed this direction in my life. And you may need this direction in your life. You need to get serious with yourself. What do I actually want in life? And so you don't spend the next 20 years doing the same thing. How have you grown in the last 5 or 10 years in all aspects of your life and your health? Are you any better or are you worse? In your money, do you have more? Or do you have less? Is it the same? Why are you the same after 5 years? I'm asking you real questions, hard questions, but questions you need to ask yourself so that you don't get to retirement and wonder, why didn't I listen to Preston? Why didn't I listen to Olivia? Why didn't I take the advice? Why didn't I do the math on what it was going to cost me to live? I know somebody right now that's right at 40 years old. They don't have a penny saved. They don't have a home in their name. They don't have a car in their name. They don't have anything. And at 63, that's going to be a liability for me. I need to come up with an extra few $100,000 to make sure that somebody else is taken care of. I know that. That's an expense. I did the math, and I'm not saying that you have to carry all the weight. That's your choice. I'm talking about my targets here. My targets are nobody around me will suffer. I win and everybody around me wins. That's my mentality. My family will walk into a place, and because they're with me, they will be better and they will do better. When I walk into a place, nobody in my family is going to have to order up the dollar menu. Nobody's going to coupon. Nobody in our church is going to have a special need. We bought two people's vehicles back. We paid one person's rent for 4 months. And I'm not telling you this to brag, but I'm telling you why it's important to know your money game, why it's important to know your business. Like I've already been blessed. I'm just telling you, oh, these are old blessings. This is stuff that I can personally testify that I've seen. I've been able to help others because I was willing to figure out what I wanted and have a surplus. I could give more. And because I could give more, you're not going to believe this, I got blessed more. Opportunity came. And because I got committed to helping other people, I got creative. And now we've got other doors open up. Like I'm doing so much all the time. And it's not that I'm special. It's I know what I want. And somebody that knows what they want, they start walking in that direction. They call it like the law of attraction. It's not like the law of attraction. When you know what you want, it's easy to identify. It's easy to walk towards it. But they're like, start walking towards the thing that you want, and you don't have an idea. Where are you going? Right? Up, down, left, right? Who knows? You guys get that? Like, so when she's telling you you got to have a target, you got to let that sink in. Like, we've been talking about some deep stuff today, I guess, but I'm serious. Like, it matters. Like, I'm so sold on this. And if you're not sold on this, you need to be. You don't know where your family's going to be in 10 years, but I do. It's going to be exactly where you're at now unless you decide to do something different. Or you're going to be worse, but you're not going to get better. Unless you decide to grow, you're not going to grow. You're going to stay exactly where you are. And is where you're at right now going to be sufficient for 20 years from now? Are you going to have kids? Are you going to have a family? Is anybody going to get sick? What if there's an emergency? If your house burns down, then what? Right? And I'm not trying to stress you out, but I am trying to stress you out. I'm trying to agitate you. I'm trying to get you moving and shaking. Some of you guys are too comfortable. Like, oh, well, I'll eventually figure it out. Like, what? What if you don't? Like, eventually, don't wait for later. Later never comes. Denzel Washington says, later the coffee gets cold. Later, you're not interested. Later, you're not able to do it. Later never comes. Don't push it off till later. Figure out what you want now. Set your goals now. Change your habits today. Commit. I'm not starting this tomorrow. Tonight, this is what I'm doing. Tonight, I'm writing down my goals. Tonight, I'm getting serious with myself. Tonight, I'm changing who I am. Tonight, my family will be different. I'm never going to be the same again. And nobody that sees me or knows me, nobody that hangs out with me is going to say, that's the same guy. I'm going to become unrecognizable. Nobody that sees me or knows me is going to say, that's the same lady. When they're talking to you ladies out there, you're going to become unrecognizable. You're going to be the spouse that you were supposed to be, that you know in the back of your mind that you should be and you could be. Should you do the things that you know you've been putting off, but you can do? You're going to be in the health that you need to be. Should you be making the decisions that you should have been? You're going to be praying like you're supposed to. You're going to get committed. You're not going to let how you feel dictate your life, because you're never going to have anything if your feelings rule over everything you're going to do. If you don't feel like doing something, like you're never going to get rich. I'm going to tell you, I do stuff all the time that I hate. I hate doing it. But my personal desire and my commitment to my goals and myself way overrules how I feel. It's not about how I feel. Today I was so stressed and overwhelmed, and I still was able to put food on the table. Like, I still was able to bring home money. I still was able to make this meeting. I've got to go to church tonight here shortly and prepare. Like, I was able to do it. It didn't matter how I felt. You guys get that? Like, it's not about your feelings. Let's get real. It's not about how you feel. Oh, I don't feel like doing it today. Oh, I'm tired. Oh, I'm sick. Oh, I'm hurting. Or I'm not in the best health. Oh, there's so many excuses. Or I can't be that. Yes, you can. Like, I'm not special. Children's home, foster care, walking to work, homeless, evicted, went to jail for 2 weeks, got out, then lost my car again, repossessed, had to live with somebody else, was homeless again. Like, I'm not special. There's nothing special about me outside of my unique DNA. That is it. Me and you are the same, though. I just decided I was going to chase a goal. I was going to get after it. I was going to be all that I could be so that this lady beside me didn't have to stress or worry to the capacity that most people do when it's time to retire. When we're in our 40s, it's totally going to be a different life for us. Like, we're not going to be your average 40-year-old. And that's common sense. You can look at me and you believe it. Why? Because I believe it, because I know what I want and I'm going to chase it and I'm going to get it. And you're going to get it too. I believe in you, but you've got to know what you want. You guys get that? Good. What else was we talking about?
Well, and this just confirms everything I've already talked about. I've talked about you a lot, about how you want to see them win and grow. And you are the type of person that like pushes the people around you. Like, you're not just gonna let them sit and stay in the same spot. And so
Yeah, and you
you've come
shouldn't
here and
either.
pretty much shown that.
Yeah, you shouldn't either, by the way. If your team sucks around, you need to shake them up or you need to get them going. Like, that's a hard thing for me. My best friend from high school decided one day that he wasn't going to chase the journey, that he wasn't going to commit to being better, that he was okay with barely getting by. And you know what barely getting by got him? Nothing. He became homeless. You know what homeless got him? Drugs, jail, in and out. Now he's got multiple kids. He's got nothing. Somebody else I work with, literally nothing. Homeless, going from house to house, in-law to in-law. They became liabilities. You know why? Because they wouldn't push themselves. They wouldn't commit to the journey. They wouldn't go and they wouldn't grow. And so you know what I had to do? I had to separate myself, not out of hate. I don't hate these people, but out of love. I love you enough to not make you think that it's okay. And I love me enough and my family and my future enough to commit and to not settle and come down to your level, but to push forward and to grow. So if you're around me and your capacity isn't to be better, if your capacity, if your desire, if your influence isn't pushing forward in the right direction, yeah, we can be professional acquaintances from a distance, but we're not going to be good friends. I'm going to agitate you. I'm going to stress you out. Why? Because it's the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. And it's always going to be the next thing. Like Jesus Christ, he was living water. He flowed, he moved. He wasn't a pool. He wasn't dead. He didn't just sit there where algae and mold and fungus and frogs and turtles and all the things lived in these muddy, mucky ponds. No, he was a living water. He was a river. He was a stream full of life, right? The Dead Sea, the reason nothing can live in there is because it has no exits. There's no flow. There's no flow. And the Sea of Galilee, fed by the same exact river. The Jordan River feeds both of these, but the Sea of Galilee has some exits and there's a flow and it's brimming with life. Opportunity everywhere. You know why? Because it's flow. There's something continually going forward. It's continually moving. And you've got to be like that. Your surroundings, your friends, you need to get them on your level or you need to get them going. I love you. And I'm telling you this because I love you, right? Mediocre friends, like I won't even talk to half of my coworkers when I'm there. You know why? Because they make sense out of living out of 4 or 5 grand a month. They have learned to make sense out of just getting by. They have learned to make sense out of living on less. Like I've got some coworkers that have figured out how to live on 2 grand a month. I'm like, why are you even stressing about how to figure that out? Like I spend more money than that on energy drinks. I'm not like telling you that to sound arrogant or egotistical, but I'm telling you there's more out there if you want more. You can get more, you can have more, you can be more, but you cannot be more if you convince yourself that it's okay and you hang out with people. You will become, think about this. Look at people that have been in small churches. It's been a small church for 20 years. Why? You go there and say, well, it's just our cozy small church and we're never going to grow. And then you go to some people that start a new church and they start adding people. And like, how are you adding people? Well, because God wants growth. Both people are right. Now, which right do you want to be? Do you want to be comfortable and complacent? Do you want to make sense out of 2 grand a month? And when your mama calls, you can't help. Your grandma calls, you can't help. Your siblings calls, you can't help. When they're going out to eat, you can't go. When there's a birthday, you can't participate. You've got a coupon. If it's not on sale, you can't get it. Is that the life you want? Or do you want to be like, hey, that sounds good. Get 4 of them. Right? Oh, you need help? Yeah, I got you. And absolutely. And I'm so glad I can help. It's no problem. It's not a problem at all. I'm so happy to be able to help you. I did extra to make sure that you were taken care of. How does that make you feel? You get what I mean?
Well, that just makes me think about the saying, like, it's all hard, so what hard do you want? Like, do you want it to
Yeah.
be hard, get into like where you want to go, or do you want to settle for less? It's still gonna be hard either way.
Yeah. Like, and I think it's harder being poor.
Yeah.
Like,
For
not
sure.
only are you doing the same work, they're at the
You
same
never
job
get
I
a
am.
break. Yeah.
Yeah, like they're doing the same hours I am. They don't see their family as often as I don't see my family. But the difference is when we're off, I can think about my family. I'm not home thinking about how am I going to get my next check. I'm not home thinking about how am I going to get the bills. What I'm thinking about is, hey, what can my wife and I do together? Hey, baby, what you want to do? Do you want to go swimming? You want to chill in the bed? You want to clean up? You want to help me work outside? We can do whatever we want to do because I'm not thinking about work. It's easier. Now I can have some peace and some relaxation, right? Versus when I was in my past life, had this opportunity. I was just thinking about had to be at work. What I'm not making enough at work. So when I'm at home, I gotta be working. I need to be working. And then when I'm at work, I'm stressed out because I'm not home enough. I'm doing everything at work and I'm not getting anywhere. It's hard being poor. Like, I'm not saying like it's and they have this cliche thing, oh, money won't make you happy. Well, that's what people without money say. You're never going to hear a rich person say money won't make you happy. And by the way, money won't make you happy. But if you were sad, wouldn't you rather have money? At least you can go do something. At least you can have some opportunity. At least you can choose to be where you're at. But if you're poor, you're sad and you can't do nothing. You're stuck in your sorrow. Who gets out of sorrow first? Somebody who gets up and leaves it or somebody who sits in it? Let's think about it. Yeah, money won't make you happy, but it will give you opportunity. Think about that. Like it's the same hard. You guys getting that? It's so like it's not and it's not a hard thing to do. It's not any harder to make money. It's just as hard to make $500,000 as it is to make $40,000. They're the same hard. The difference is the information, is what you know, it's the knowledge. The difference is to where your targeting goes into your funnels and your systems. The difference is to your pitch and your product and your margins. Like it's the same exact hard though. I walked in today and in a 30-minute, not even 30, maybe 13-minute conversation, I made $500, right? But you can spend that same 13 minutes and make $9 to get somebody in sales and cash flow, right? Same exact hard, same exact pitch. In fact, I'll argue it's harder for me to get some people to spend $9. Like people are so scared. They're like, well, what am I going to get for $9? I should make this product $9,000 and I should talk to people who are committed to growth. But I didn't want to do that. You know why? Because I needed help and I couldn't afford $9,000 when I needed help. I didn't have the people around me. I didn't have people who could think beyond where they were at right now. I didn't have the big dreamers, the believers, the people who wanted to pay off the churches, the people who wanted to buy the helicopter and have a couple of houses so that they could send their friends to. I didn't have the big dreamers and the thinkers around me. I grew up poor. I'd never seen it in my life. I'd never had money before. The first time I made $10,000, it changed my life. Right. And so I needed you guys that if you're not there yet to be able to see that people can do it and it's not a hard thing. It is possible. Like if I can do it, I am a nobody. If I can do it, you can do it. It is possible. It's not a hard thing. And that's something you need to realize. Like let that sink in. You can do it. And you can say it with me. Let's say it together. I can do it. We'll do it one more time. I can do it. Right. You can. And I believe in you. And you should believe that. Right. $9. Man, you're getting so much value for $9. You guys should be sending me cash apps and Venmos when you send this, by the way. Help me get to my $9,000 a ticket. This is crazy. Like, this is crazy. This is what I needed, though, when I wasn't making any money. This is what I needed. I needed to be around people. I needed to be setting targets. I needed to be talking to people who were winning day in and day out, who were committed, who were growing, who were grinding it out so that I can see when I'm going through some things, hey, there's a better end to this thing. It's not always going to be hard. It's not always going to be a struggle. The win is right around the corner. You guys get what I'm saying? And you're connecting with these like-minded people. And I had to get away from sick people. I had to get away from people who were draining me, from people who didn't have the energy, didn't have the passion, didn't have the zeal and the desire to get to the next level. And I had to separate myself and find a whole new set of friends. And I have less friends, but better friends. Now I call people who are like, they don't have ideas. They just move the bar. Like if I was to hire them, let's say for Gooch Property Services, they wouldn't tell me what service we could do. They could come back and say, hey, I just made 10 grand for your company. I need this much of a split. You guys get what I'm saying? Like I have better friends now. It's a whole different game. And I didn't say I'll never hang out with the old friends. No, we're just on different pages. I didn't even have to tell them. They knew they were uncomfortable around me. I said, look, you're not going to talk about this around me anymore. We're not going to talk about how bad it is. You're not going to tell me how bad your leads are, how bad your marketing's doing. You're not going to tell me how things such. You're not going to tell me how you can't afford to pay your light bill. I'm not listening to the garbage anymore. What I'm going to do is I'm going to spend my energy creating solutions. I'm not feeding the problems. I'm not feeding the things that hurt. I'm feeding the things that brings solutions. I'm feeding the sales and the funnels. I'm closing. I'm getting better. I'm learning how to talk. I'm going to the classroom tab. I'm listening to the closes over and over until they become natural. I'm reciting them to myself in the mirror. I'm practicing with a partner. I'm doing what I have to do. I will be what I need to be a great, right? And you can do the same thing, and you separate yourself. They will leave you alone. And then all of a sudden you'll start winning and they'll try to attach back to you because they want to see if they can get a part of that. And that's where a lot of people fail. They go back in them old cycles. Well, it was kind of cool hanging with John. You have one slow day and you're like, yeah, man, John was pretty cool. I need to chill with John. John's my buddy, right? Well, your buddy's going to be the reason your family doesn't have financial success if you don't let them go. You guys get what I'm saying? Know what you want in life. Know when to cut something off. Know when to feed something. You feed the thing that produces good, and you starve the thing that produces bad. That's fear. That's negative. That's why you can't make something happen. Think about this. 2008. Did people do well? Yes. Did people become successful? Yes. There were businesses that took off. Facebook, Amazon, several real estate investors that bought. Did people do well? Yes. How come one person can do good and one person can do bad in the same economy? How come one guy can get a sales job for one company and make 3 times as much money as the same guy at the same company? They have the same training, the same boss, the same product. What's the difference? The attitude. The person is feeding the better things. One person's learning how to sell. One person's being proactive. One person is obviously doing way much more. And let's say for some of you losers that are negative, like, well, the manager's giving them deals. Okay, why is the manager's giving him deals? Why don't they like you? What about you don't they like? Is it your attitude? Is it your lack of productivity? There's a reason they're feeding him deals, even at and that's not even an excuse. The people who aren't fed still win. I don't get house deals, and I'm still at the top. If I'm not number 1, I'm 2 or 3. I'm up there. I'm at the top out of 50 or 60, right? I don't get house deals. But it's because I'm feeding. I'm always focused. If they start talking about drama and bad things and, oh, the leads are such, I leave. I say, hey, guys, I'll be back. I got to go find some business. I'll be right back. And they know Preston's not listening to it. I build a culture. I don't want to hear how bad your life is. I don't care about what's going on bad in your life right now. Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about how we can fix it. Let's talk about the things that are going to change it. I'm not diluting your problem. I'm not making fun of it or making light. You guys understand that? But it's not going to fix anything. We're not going to help you by talking about how bad your life is. It's not going to change anything. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a counselor. What I can do, though, is I can say, cool, how would $5,000 fix the situation right now? And if it wouldn't, I can say, hey, let's pray about it right now. Now let's make $5,000. You get what I'm saying? Like, we're going to feed the right things. You got to get off of the negative. You got to know what you want. And don't get distracted by the blue target when the red target's right here. Like, don't let, oh, well, my life is bad. If I could just fix this part of my life. And you're going to have side roads and avenues and so many things try to detour you. It's like one guy deemed it like the force of average, like average life and mediocrity and sad and sorrow is going to chase you down like a dog that ain't ate in 4 days. And you're going to have to be able to still run towards the target and not get distracted. And there was a movie called The Matrix, and they used this analogy. Somebody did. They called it The Woman in the Red Dress. You don't win until you can get through the level without looking at the beautiful woman, the distraction, the thing, the shiny object syndrome, right? Oh, I'm going to be so successful when you get to growing and growing. And somebody says, yeah, but you could try this and be better. And now your attention is shifted. And you were going straight up, but now you're diagonal and you stall. You get what I'm saying? And then you chase this and you try to go straight up. You got to rebuild something new, but you keep getting distracted on a new idea, a new red dress, a new shiny object, and it's messing you up. You got to know what you want. You got to be decisive on your targets. You got to shake off everybody around you. You got to separate yourself or, pick them up, pull them up to you. Man, this is good stuff. You have some good topics, man. We can go on like this. I talk about this. I get excited about it. I do. I get super excited about it. Let's talk about you. What else do you talk about?
Everyone's excited reading.
That's cool. Well, hey, this is my wife, guys. Like, you may not like me, but you gotta love her,
It's
right?
definitely the whole energy has shifted in this whole call because it was like chill, laid back, drink your coffee kind of conversation, and now it's like get drilled by the awesome like business coach.
Yeah, and you need both. And you need both, by the way. I'm telling you this. We're thinking about doing something called a Lives with Wives, right? Where she can talk with people more laid back, drinking coffee, and say, hey, my agitated, let's go, let's get driven, let's pound it out husband was all over. And this is what I did to support. By the way, sip of coffee, you know what I mean? Like, you need both. You may not like me. I may be too much for you. You may not like brutal honesty. And she's honest as well, but she just knows how to say it better where it sounds good. I'm gonna get under your skin, man. And like that's my goal. I want to move you. People are driven by pain and pleasure. I know that. So if you can't feel good and comfortable on a coffee conversation, you can get mad about it with me, right? So what do you guys think? You want to do a live with wives? Y'all can let me know, DM me or comment or something like that, and maybe have a more relaxed conversation. And of course, I'm still going to be popping in on these lives. We'll get to going. If I can't be there, I was working today. I had to made a little bit of bread though because I know what I want. Right? You guys aren't going to pay me $1,000 today. You guys just aren't going to give me that money unless you do. If you guys have been watching this and you're ready to commit, by the way, for the lifetime membership for $497, go ahead and do it. I've been working on a book. I'm going to go ahead and give you a preview before I publish it. For the first 10 people that buy the book for the $497, I'll go ahead and publish it. Or I'll build it in a document and I will send it to you to read through. And go ahead and you'll never be charged $9 a month again, right? So if you commit to yourself, if you're ready, if you know this is what you want and this is what you need, if we're the people that you need to be around, you need to just go ahead and commit and go all in. You need to know what you want and show your commitment. You need to put some skin in the game and say, you know what? I'm all in. These guys are right. I want to be around these people for the rest of my life. I want to grow. I feel like they're going to grow. I feel like they're going to help me grow. Go ahead, go into the classroom tabs, put lifetime membership, go ahead and buy it. And I will send you the preview of what I've got in the book. And I will even let you read it. And me and you might feature a chapter you've got with something that you've learned together if you want me to add some bonus content. And I like to share your story too. So let's go. Let's grow. I got to hop out. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments below. We've got church tonight, so I've got so much to do. But man, hope you're fired up. Know what you want. Know your target. Get everybody around you excited about it, right? When you have so many people pushing, when you have 10 people pushing the weight in one direction, how much more momentum can you get versus one guy pushing and 3 people pulling? So get your family on board, get your team on board. And they may think you're crazy at first, but if you stay committed, eventually they'll hop on the train because everybody thought I was crazy until I wasn't. Does that make sense? Like when I started winning, they're like, hey man, how can I get on with you? How can I learn with you? How can I grow with you? Does that make sense? They're going to think you're crazy until you're not. You need to push the ball forward and they will support you. Just stay committed. Know what you want. Don't get distracted by the shiny object, the next thing, the negative friends, the emotions, the trauma from your past. Know what you want. Keep pushing the ball forward. Let's go. Let's grow. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out. Oh, go ahead. You do the honors. And buy that lifetime membership.